Good morning, dear students. My name is Alaa Hassan Hussain. I'm assistant lecturer at the Department of Translation, College of Arts, Al Mustansiriya University. I'm the lecturer for legal translation at the Translation Department for fourth stage students. So today I'll be giving you a brief introduction into legal translation. I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation that I'll present right now. So let's start. So what is legal translation? Legal translation is not only rendering of legal text from the source language into the target language. So it's not only exchanging words from the source text into the target text. It's not only exchanging of words, but it's the translation of one legal system into another. So we try to make a localization of the fact. We try to make a localization of the source text into the target text. So we have to make the legal system in the target text similar to the legal system in the source text. So now we are dealing with the categories of legal translation. It can be categorized according to the purposes. So what is the purpose of legal translation? If the purpose is normative and if the purpose is informative, now we will get to explain each one of these. Now, for the normative purpose, this type actually includes some multilingual legal instrument, such as that of the UN and EU documents, so legal documents issued by the UN, the United Nations, and the EU, the European Union. They are parallel text. They are parallel text and they are authentic and legally equivalent and have the same communicative function, though the languages are different. So the languages are different, however, it has the source, in this purpose, there is no source text and target text. They are all equivalent, legally equivalent, so they can be considered all as a source text, and they are authentic and they are parallel text. Usually they are issued in more than one language according to the official languages of that institution. So for example here, if we go to the web page of the United Nations, we see at the very top of the page the official languages of the UN. Here we see Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. And of course Arabic. Of course, so 6 official languages of the UN. So if the UN decides to issue a resolution or an official document, it would issue it in these official languages of the UN. They are Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. Now we get to the second purpose, and that is informative, to inform. So this type actually refers to those texts that have descriptive or contrastive functions, such as the translation of statutes, courts, decisions, and other types of legal documents. They intend to give information. That's why they are called informative, to give information to the target readers. The source text will therefore be the only authentic legal source, and the others are solely used for reference purposes only. So the source text is the only legal source, the only authentic legal source. So to go back, if a dispute happens on the translation, they always add a provision at the very end of the legal document that says if a dispute happens, then a reference will be to the text in, for example, in English or French. So that means French or English or any other language mentioned in that document is the source language, and that document written in that language is the source text. And it is the only legal source to go back to. While the others, if there is, like, for example, an Arabic or Russian translation. They are used only for reference purposes only, just to know the general information about that document, to get an information. So here we have an example here. We have a legal statement. This is an example taken from a website. As we can see in the second paragraph, it says the official text maintained by WADA in English, French and Spanish. So they are written in 3 languages. In the event of any conflict between the English and other language versions, the English version shall prevail. It means that the source text here is English, and if any conflict happens on the interpretation of the text, then the reference will be only to the source text, and here we have the source language here being English, while the text, the French and Spanish text, are only for reference purposes according to this legal statement. Now let's tackle the features of legal English. The use of archaic terms. Archaic means old terms. So legal English is characterized by its old vocabulary, the use of old vocabulary. Examples here we have the use of these words, hereby, thereby, aforesaid, said, thereby, and hereof. In the next lectures, of course, we will deal with a lot of texts that have these types of terms. They are, of course, archaic. An example here taken from a legal text, it says, I hereby confirm that the report is. So, as you can see, the underlined word here is hereby, and it is an archaic term, and we don't see these kind of terms used in everyday English. However, we see it in legal English, in legal text. The use of Latin and French terms. For Latin terms, we have examples here. As you can see, these legal terms have a meaning in English. So these are Latin terms. They are not used in everyday language, but they are used in legal English. As you can see, bona fide and good faith, and so on. The use of French terms. The use of French terms, as you can see here. So we have this voir dire. So we have an explanation for it in English. It says a preliminary examination of a witness or a juror by a judge or a counsel. So this is the use of Latin and French terms in legal English to make the English written in that text more legal. Now the use of formal terms. Examples here we have, I do solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So the use here, the use of solemnly swear, the formal term. As you can see, we have an everyday English is different from legal English. So the words we use, for example, plain language words used in English, the examples here given are accept, cancel, together and separately, legal document, if, except, however, in any event. These types of words we deal with in everyday English. However, in legal English we need to use some formal terms to make the text more legal. So in legal text we will see in the coming lectures the use of these words like save, it means accept, void means cancel, joint and several means together. Instrument here means a legal document, provided that means if, except, however, in any event. So as you can see, the legal English is different from everyday English. The use of shall, must and may. We will see in the coming lecture different examples or different text that includes these words. Now the use of shall is used in the imperative sense to impose a duty or obligation. So imperative sense means a command. So it has the same function as must here. So it's not. So shall is not used here to reference to the future, but it is used to denote an obligation, a duty. That's why it like a command. So that's why it has the same meaning as must. May is used in legal discourse to indicate permission here. So may means this can be done. So for example, if I say the lessor may lend the lessee, so the may here means he can do something, he can do this. I permit him, I give him permission to do this. Lexical repetition. In legal English, lexical repetition is used instead of pronouns. In most of the cases where the antecedent of the pronouns cannot be figured out easily, because pronouns can have ambiguous reference. So that's why we avoid the use of pronouns. We try to repeat the same words rather than just using the pronouns. So the example here, as you can see, to keep the interior and then the internal decoration, the fixtures, furniture, and effects. So these are all parts of the interior. However, he uses lexical repetition to use more words that have the same reference as the antecedent to avoid ambiguation. The use of capital letters, as we can see the example here, is given. The first party, as you can see, the, capital T, capital F, and capital P. It means that this, the reference here is to a legal character. So the first party has a legal character. It means someone or a company or an institution and so on. As you can see other examples, the second party, the lessor, the lessee, the assigner, and so on. Features of legal Arabic. Now we get to know the features of legal Arabic. The use of metaphors. As you can see here, we have the use of metaphors. This is an example taken from the Iraqi constitution. And the examples here reads as follows: ومكتوين بلظى شجن المقابر الجماعية وتجفيف منابع الفكرية. So as you can see, in Arabic, in this Arabic legal text, we see the use of metaphors. And this is a character of legal Arabic text. Formality, as you can see here, the use of titles to address officials. As you can see, the use of حضرة صاحب الفخامة, حضرة صاحب السمو الملكي, and so on. So it make the text more formal. Another example of formality here. So we have on the left, we have a legal text, a resolution or decision issued by the UAE. As you can see, the use of formality, the use of plurality here. نحن زايد bin Sultan. So Zaid bin Sultan is only one person. However, in the text it says نحن to denote plurality, to show respect to the person. أصدرنا, the same, plurality, to use for only one person. The example on the right here says to give more respective titles, like الأخ العقيد معمر القذافي, قائد ثورة الفاتح العظيم وملك ملوك أفريقيا. So in Arabic is gender biased. That's why in the example here it says يباشر المتعاقد واجبات وظيفية. So المتعاقد here means of course, if we translate it, it means the contractor. But it refers to, it has either a masculine or feminine reference. So that's why it's gender biased. It's biased to masculine. So if you use masculine here, it means masculine or feminine. Redundancy. So as you can see here, in the underlined words, تنبيه أو إنذار. In everyday Arabic, we can use one of them. However, in legal Arabic, we tend to make the text redundant. That's why we use like two words to refer to the same reference. إقرار وتعهد، أقر والتزم، لخط أو إكراه. General strategy for dealing with legal translation is to use literal translation. We can't change the spirit of the text, to change lots of the text, to amend the text so much. It's not literary text, it's a legal text, so that's why it has a legal effect, has a legal character, and so we can't really change much of the text. We try to stick to the source text as much as possible. What are the rules for translation here? So if you get a text, try to read and comprehend the text to get the meaning of the words. Of course, use necessary dictionaries. There are specialized legal dictionaries that we have in English and Arabic. In Arabic, we have the dictionary of Al-Faruqi, so it's available. There are two dictionaries, the English Arabic and Arabic English dictionaries available in the market, so you can buy. After you read and comprehend the text and you get the use the dictionaries to get to know the meaning of the text, try to make a draft translation and then redraft. Read the text again for any mistakes and try to make a redraft, and then finalize the text to make a final version of your translation. And then after you do that, read as an ST, read it as a source text, as if this text is not written, is not translated, but written actually originally. So it's read it as a source text to see if there are any mistakes. So don't deal with it as a translation, but rather as a source text. And ask others to read if necessary. If you feel like there are mistakes that you can't spot, of course you can ask your lecturer, or you can ask your friends who have more information than you. Ask them to read and to spot those mistakes so that you can correct. Thank you very much, dear students, for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the coming lectures soon. Good luck.